The understanding of yoga in Russian Empire wouldn't be complete without understanding of yoga of Russian intelligentsia, first of all, Russian poets. Almost all the representatives of Silver Age of Russian poetry were interested either in yoga or in some other Eastern mysticism, and their lyrics reflect their experience. For instance, Konstantin Balmont, in his Indiyskiy Mudrets, the Indian Sage, wrote, "At first I like a wise man spoke with ages, then I returned my soul to primordial simplicity, and then in silence I became part of Brahma, and immersed myself in eternal beauty." Or consider his marvelous poem on the swamp lilies. Pale, pale shy, blossomed in the swamp wilderness, white lilies, flowers silent, and around them, rustling the reeds, white lilies flowers silver, rise from deep bottom, where no shining golden rays, where the water is cold and dark, and not attract their passion criminal, their excitement to his call, for prying eyes, unavailable, the only life, imbued with the determination of solid, live the dreams, and to reach heights, bloom with pomp of proud, white lilies, dumb flowers, blossom and fade dispassionate, far from the realm of the human, and will bloom again, beautiful, and no one will know about them. So what this poem is about? It's about lotus, because white lily is this lotus itself. Why is lotus a sacred flower in Indian culture, and why is Padmasana, the lotus posture, the main iconic posture of yoga? Lotus flower grows from the dust. It goes through all the elements, the earth, the water, the air, and the fire of the sun, and it remains clean. That is in fact the metaphor which Balmont plays with in his great poem. Alexander Blok has a great description of his mystical experience in this poem. All being and existence in accord, in great, unceasing silence. Look there, involved or indifferent. I don't care, the universe is in me. I feel, and I believe, and I know. You'll not deceive the seer with sympathy. I myself in abundance include all the fires which you burn. But there is no more weakness or strength. The past, the future is in me. All being and existence is frozen in great, unchanging silence. I am here at the end, full of insight. I crossed the borderline. I am just waiting for a signing vision to fly off into a different emptiness. Velimir Khlebnikov often mentioned yoga in his works. He was the poet futurist, and he has a couple of poems which actually mention it. I think that he met with yoga through the Theosophical and Anthroposophical societies. He even has several works where he experiments with the chakral mantras. In one of his poems, Zangezi, he experiments with the ways of thinking and correlates them with different sounds. And then he has a poem definitely inspired by one of theosophical concepts, the death of Atlantis. It starts with the words, "We are gods," the priest said grimly, and pointed to the distant places with his hand. In fact, here he plays with one of the theosophical ideas of preceding civilizations. And here we have the absolutely amazing verse of his. The pain echoed up and echoed back, and became the thread which stretches from the stars. He became one of those who we call the teacher. He became one of those who built the eternal bridge. Or this one. The loving stars save silly wonder planet that is unable to reveal faces that are called by the light. Knowing of the spiritual tradition is distinctly felt here. He also has some poems which are directly telling us about yogins. Maximilian Voloshin, a part of poetry and painting, he was dealing with two things. He was an anthroposophist and even went to Switzerland twice by foot, and he was a popularizer of nudism. Two of his works, the Blick's Nudity and the Blick's Mask's Nudity, became the ideology of nudism. Although nudism was forbidden in Russian Empire and then at Soviet times, in Koktebel it always existed thanks to Voloshin, and we hope it will be. By the way, Voloshin was introduced to anthroposophy and Eastern philosophies by Andrei Bely, the renowned classic of Russian poetry. Ivan Franko, who wrote a poem dedicated to Buddha. Ivan Franko was a great knower of Sanskrit, and he even translated several chapters of Mahabharata from Sanskrit to Ukrainian. More of this, he practically was a Buddhist, and he became fond of East thanks to Mikhail Dragomanov, who, as you remember, was the uncle of Lesia Ukrainka, who also was a great knower of Sanskrit, and she translated Rig Veda from Sanskrit. Worship you Buddha, worship you Buddha. In the dark of life you are clear, you are a miracle. You are the world of oblivion. Calm, grand, you defeated the glory of rain, the anger and love. Worship from me, leaping steadily from pressure of samsara to the stillness of nirvana. And here is a translation of my favorite Rig Veda hymn by Lesia Ukrainka. Then even nothingness was not, nor existence. There was no air then, nor the heavens beyond it. What covered it? Where was it? In whose keeping? Was there the cosmic water, in depth unfathomed? Then there was neither death nor immortality, nor was there then the torch of night and day. The One breathed windlessly and self-sustaining. There was that One then, and there was no other. At first there was only darkness, warped in darkness. All this was only unilluminated cosmic water. That One which came to be, enclosed in nothing, arose at last, born of the power of heat, tapas. In the beginning desire descended on it, and that was the primal seed born of the mind. The sages who have searched their hearts with wisdom know that which is kin to what which is not. And they have stretched their cord across the void and know that was above and what below. Seminal powers made fertile might forces. Below was strength, and over it was impulse. But after all, who knows and who can say whence it all came and how creation happened? The gods themselves are later than creation. So who knows truly whence it has arisen, whence all creation had its origin? He, whether he fashioned it or whether he did not. He who knows surveys it all from highest heaven. He knows, or maybe even he doesn't know. Here is reflected the main idea of Hegel's philosophy concerning that the Absolute searches and tries to know itself through the human, and nobody in the universe knows everything. This is the hymn 129 of the 10th mandala of Rig Veda. This one and many others were translated by Lesia Ukrainka from Sanskrit to Ukrainian. Then there were Mikhail Dragomanov, whom I mentioned, and of course the Alexander Green, who had a poem, The Fallen Leaf, which is literally dedicated to the yoga practice. And here we see the Anna Akhmatova in the complex Bhujangasana.